back to all my friends. And if you're new, I'd like to welcome you to our little community. And thank you for subscribing. This is Living and Crafting with MS, and I'm Alex, your MS warrior, someone who loves to quilt and hopes to bring more awareness to MS and other chronic and invisible diseases. Before we get started, there's just a couple of things I want to say. First, you'll notice that I have a little speech thing going on right now, and that's because I'm wearing my bottom plate. I had lost it, and we finally found it, and so now I'm having to get used to uh, wearing them again. So bear with me. Hopefully, it won't take too long, and I can get over this, whatever you want to call it. Second, and this is a little more sadness, I guess. Um, Also, before I get into that, I just want to say if you notice me looking down, I have my notes, and so I'm reading from it. Um, so, to get on with everything, as I said, I'm Alex. Um, and I want to acknowledge that here in the US, we've had a hard few weeks, to say the least. My thoughts and prayers go out to all the families and friends of all the victims affected by all the tragedies that we've had this last few weeks. It's important to remember that none of these victims have asked for any of this. None of their families have asked for this. And whether you disagree or agree with what's happening, that's your issue, not mine. And I'm not going to bring it up here. Um, God, it's just been horrible. It's very important. It's important to know that none of these victims asked for any of this, and to remember that lives have been changed forever. That of both the victims and whether they're still alive or not, their lives have been changed forever. Their families' lives and their friends' lives have been changed forever. Also, those that have witnessed these tragics, these tragedies, none of us are going to be the same. We need to remember that parents have lost their children, siblings have lost siblings, friends, loved ones have lost the same. Spouses have lost their spouses that they thought they'd be together forever. Or I should say, spouses have lost their partners who they thought they would be with forever. But I think one of the saddest things of all, besides the spouses and parents, is the fact that young children, young and old children, no matter their age, have lost their parents. And that makes me so very sad. I was lucky. I was an adult when I lost both my parents. At different times, but at least I was an adult. I wasn't a child. It's just sad. So I'd like to say that I'm keeping them all in my thoughts and prayers. And that's all I'm going to say. Now, Today's video is a new, somewhat updated get to know me, or a somewhat get to know me, as well as a catch up and um, going over what I'm working on, what I will be working on. Um, I'll also share what's new and what's coming up on the channels and maybe some changes. So, with all that being said, let's get into it. I just have to move my notes up, guys. uh, so, I'm also going to be going over my hopes and my wishes for my channel, our little community. So, with all that, as I said, my name is Alexandria, but everybody calls me Alex. Um, I'm a 51-year-old wife, mother, and grandmother. I have 2 daughters and many, many, many other adopted children. Um, I'm an MS warrior who loves to quilt, and among other crafts, but right now it's mainly quilting. I'm not perfect, but I try not to let that stop me, nor do I let MS stop me, for the most part, from doing what I love to do. My goal is to bring more awareness to MS, because if we don't, along with other, let me back up. I'm hoping to raise more awareness about MS along with other terrible diseases that are rarely talked about unless um, someone famous happens to get it. Not that that's terrible, but they're still a human just like we are. And I think whether or not a famous person has it or not shouldn't be the defining definition of whether a horrible disease gets talked about. So, um, sadly, um, it's sad that unless you're famous and you do bring more awareness to certain diseases like Parkinson's, sadly, with the loss of Ozzy, Michael J. Fox, um, you know, there's many, many diseases out there. Uh, quite a few famous people have been recently diagnosed with MS. And so, in a way, that's good because it's bringing more awareness with it. But if, and I'm going to say this in the aspect of we are not famous. So if we, and as in we, I'm talking about people that have these horrible diseases, if we don't start talking about it more and bringing more awareness about these diseases and illnesses, we may never find the cure that we so desperately need. Um, and so I'll get more into what I plan on doing about that towards the end of the video. So let's talk about some fun stuff. Many of you know that I'm about to start what I call my faux leather quilt, or my faux leather show quilt. For those that haven't heard, in the next week or two, because I'm still waiting on some supplies to come, I will begin the Petals Crossing quilt that was designed by my friend Tasha from Tasha Quilts. Yes, I actually just made this quilt last month. But I enjoyed that quilt so much, and for some reason as soon as I started making it and I started seeing it come together, I thought about it being in patriotic colors: red, white, blue, cream. Uh, and I was on another uh, person's live, and I want to say it was Katie's live, the Greenland Quilter, one of her lives. Uh, we were talking about leather and hides, and I got an idea of, wouldn't it be cool to do a leather quilt? Well, it would cost me a fortune, and it's already costing a fortune, but it would cost me a fortune to make this quilt, any quilt, in actual leather. So I thought about, well, why don't I do it in faux leather? Now, I'm not talking about a couple of pieces here and a couple of pieces there of faux leather. This quilt is going to be entirely made of faux leather. Um, Everything except for the batting and the backing on the back of the faux leather will be faux leather. Um, the quilt itself, the hanging sleeve, and the quilt label will all be faux leather. So, um, so I decided. I looked around, I looked it up, did a little bit of research, and could not find any examples of leather quilts. And there could be several reasons for that. One being that because of the weight, you know, people didn't want to try it. It could be because you have to have certain threads. Who knows? But I've decided that I'm going to try. Now, I am doing it in patriotic colors, as I mentioned, um, and with the hopes of, uh, well, I'm doing in patriotic colors because I want to enter it into quilt shows in honor of our 250th birthday that's coming up next year, July 4th of 2026. Okay. Um, so, I looked around and couldn't find any examples. And as a lover of leather, I said, why not give it a try? What's the worst that could happen? It doesn't work out. Now, my goal is to showcase this quilt, hopefully entering it into some contests, and hopefully coming home with some ribbons. We'll see. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. At least I tried. Um, right now, I'm working on a quilt pattern called In the Arms of the Angels by, I want to say, Marcia. I think that's how you pronounce it. And if it's not, I'm sorry. Marcia Owen. I'm using cotton fabric for the background and white faux leather, um, embossed. It's a embossed white faux leather for the feathers of the angel wings. I also, the reason why I'm doing that is because I kind of want to get used to putting it into quilts and used to sewing it. Now, I've made plenty of bags and wallets out of faux leather. I've sewn it before. And I'm hoping that this is going to be the same thing. But you just never know. All faux leather is different. Some are more stretchier, some are not. You just don't know until you start messing with it. And so that's, why I'm doing more faux leather and other quilts. Now, for those of you that have seen me do some work, I love adding um, vinyl, ribbon, silk, satin, faux leather, real leather. I love adding all of it to different quilts and different embroideries. The other thing that I've been doing a lot is I am working on pattern testing for um, a friend of mine, um Hetty from Schlick Stitches and Designs. As you can see, I'm trying to stay busy. Right now, my pain that I have that's associated with the MS is somewhat under control, a little better now that they've added some extra pain meds. So I'm trying to do as much as I can while I'm still feeling the greatest, because I know how I am in the winter, and um, I just want to be able to do some. I just want to be able to work on stuff while I'm feeling good. Uh, you might notice by watching this video that I have a green screen, and it is from the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. There's a reason. um, I am proud to announce I am now one of the new, uh, sorry, I'm proud to announce that I am one of the new ambassadors for the National MS Society. Um, Along with that, and all the responsibilities that come with that, I'm going to be starting a podcast about MS and what it's like to live with it. I plan to share my story along with other MS warriors, their stories, um, along with insights from doctors and researchers, hopefully, to raise awareness about this horrible disease that affects millions. I also want to bring awareness to other illnesses and diseases that aren't talked about out there, um, along with bringing awareness about the chronic pain situation that's going on here. Because you can become a chronic pain patient very easily. You don't have to have a horrible disease to have chronic pain. And having chronic pain in itself is horrible to live with. So, as you can see, I have a full plate ahead. I'm excited to begin this new journey. And I'm glad that all of you will come along and be a part of it. Now, don't worry. I'm going to keep making quilting videos and other videos. I'm also going to keep doing my lives because I quite enjoy doing the live, as y'all can tell. I haven't made a video in quite a while, but I have done quite a few lives. They don't always go well, but I'm still doing them. It's important for everyone to remember that I'm still new to this and I'm still learning things. And it does take me a little longer than most to remember things and remember how to do them. Before ending the video, I would also like to say that if you have MS or you're a doctor working on MS research or treatment, or just a doctor that deals with MS patients, and you would like to share your story or talk about MS and what's being done about it, please email me at livingandcraftingwithms@yahoo.com, and I will put that in the description of this video. If you would like to share your story go ahead and email me. And in the story or in the subject line, please put MS story so that I can keep them all together in a file and or in a folder, and I won't lose anybody. Now, as of right now, I don't know how often the podcast videos are going to be out. I do know that the first one that's going to be released is going to be my story. Now, I know I've already done a video on my story, but I want to re-release it and redo it, and hopefully go into a little more detail about it. So I do know that's the first one that's going to be out. And as far as the other ones, I'm not too sure yet because I'm just announcing it. So hopefully I'll get a pretty good schedule down with that. And I'm hoping to be able to release a podcast video at least once a month. I'm hoping to do more than that, but right now we're going to shoot for once a month. So also, I want to also say that I don't want this just to be about MS. Yes, I know I'm an MS ambassador, but I also fully believe that I should help other people, other warriors of other diseases. I need to help share their story and get more information out about those horrible diseases that affect millions. So if you have any other of those diseases that aren't talked about a lot and you want to help bring more awareness to them, then please feel free to email me. If you have chronic pain or you're somebody that helps people with chronic pain, if you're a doctor of chronic pain, please feel free to email me and we'll get something set up. Let me see. Like I said, doesn't matter if you have MS. Doesn't matter what disease. If it's a disease that is not talked about enough, then please, let's get this out there. Let's get some help going. Also, real quick, last thing. I'd like to share that on September 30th, I, as an MS warrior and ambassador, will be doing my first fundraiser as part of the Stream to End MS. I look forward to seeing you all there. I'll be sharing more information about what time and how long it's going to go for on September 30th, later in the coming weeks. Like I said, I will be raising money, and more on that in coming videos, or in coming days, I should say. So with that, guys, I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for encouraging me. It means the world to me. And I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye for now.